all day. All right, that moves us to item 2.03, Leon County Schools Dean, Dr. Benny Bolden and Anisha Robinson. I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent to kickstart the conversation and then turn it over to Doc and Dr. Bolden and Ms. Robinson.
So over the last several months, there has been an ongoing conversation about the number of administrators, principals, assistant principals, and deans that we have in our school, how those positions are funded, what that currently looks like for the 26-27 school year, what it looked like for 25-26, and what the plan is moving forward. And so I've asked our director of secondary schools, Dr. Bolden, and our director of elementary schools, Anisha Robinson, to get a detailed list of everyone that's using that title dean. We do not, as you know, have a position named dean in our menu, as an official position. There has been conversations about creating a dean position. All deans are not created equal, although we use that word with a lot of different folks that are doing support in our schools in administrative roles or quasi-administrative roles, whether that's in the discipline world, in the attendance world, in the academic world. And so Benny and Anisha are just going to give you guys an overview of what our school district looks like in the area of deans and staffing, and then answer any questions that you all might have.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Through the chair, superintendent, school board members. Ms. Smith, you asked us to address some of the questions that you had, that you sent in, and we want to make sure that we answered it with as much specification as we could. I have a couple of documents in front of you. First and foremost is the dean staffing questions that myself and Ms. Robinson went through. I will address the other two documents. One says non-district appointed deans. The other one says district appointed deans. As the superintendent has already indicated, we do not have a dean position. They are teacher resources, so we're going to talk teacher resource moving forward, which are part of the bargaining unit, which answers your question number 5. You asked about which bargaining unit. So these are teacher resources. I gave you 2 different documents because we're site-based. So principals have the autonomy. We give them the staffing plan, and they build the capacity within their schools. You have a dean of academics, a dean of literacy, a dean of math. We call them a math dean or something of that nature, but they're really essentially teacher resource positions.
Wait a minute. We have deans of math?
That's what they call them on the campus, but they are teacher resource positions.
Coaches.
They're coaches. Yeah. And so they might use the word dean, which is what the superintendent was indicating, that we use that word loosely, but we do not have a dean position. All of these individuals that we're going to talk about today are coded either teacher resource, project manager, or coordinator. We do not have deans, even though we use that term. Again, they are all part of that bargaining unit. What is the process of becoming a dean, whether district appointed or appointed? I put the information
Mr.
there.
Bolden, where are you reading this from?
This is the dean staffing questions that was asked. Yes. And
Thank
so
you. Sorry, sir.
Yep, no problem. So number 6, I'm going to go back to 1, 2, and 3 because that's on a different document. Number 6, deans may be appointed through one of the following processes. They are either selected at the school level, which a principal might say, hey, I would like to put more resources into math or reading, and I want to bring somebody out of the classroom into a teacher resource position to push in or pull out with students. That is how we use that. So that's one way. The other way is an individual have participated in our Leon County Schools Administration Preparation Program, and that's a level 1. So they have went through the process of getting a master's degree in ed leadership and so on and so forth, and we see a need within a school that we need more resources. And so the district would then utilize that list in order to place individuals. And then lastly, the superintendent has the autonomy to place individuals, which we will see in this process. How long has deans been a part of each staffing plan? Even our superintendent has served at the high school level as a dean, and so we put 30 years there. We did find that in 2008-9, middle schools was then granted in their staffing a half a unit. It was then in 2019-20 that we see that it was moved to a full unit. That is when we start using that in terms of our timeline. The first document I'm going to go to, or the second document, is the non-district appointed. I list all of the schools because I wanted to give you an understanding that some principals utilize these teacher resources and some don't. But again, it's at the autonomy of those principals. And it's the needs of the school. And so you see Appalachia, they do not utilize an additional individual to serve in this capacity, which is why it's blacked out. Astoria, however, do use that and see that.
Where
Okay.
are you now?
Non-district appointed. It's a spreadsheet that looks like this.
And we're looking at our attachments.
Yeah, the school with the information, is that where we are?
It says
Non-district.
Non-district,
All right,
yep.
hang on.
And so both the district appointed and the non-district will be on that same document.
Mine is not downloading. Okay,
Sorry, I'll wait a second.
here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having
So
trouble too.
if that area is blacked out on your chart, they may not be on the non-district appointed page spreadsheet, so they may not utilize it, or they may fall under the district appointed site, okay? So we're gonna go over all the schools that are listed on the non-district appointed.
Okay.
We've listed all the schools there.
And is this, can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
What is a project manager? Are you going to talk about that?
Yes, I can.
Like, I saw that, what is that?
So it's a position that we have within our staffing, or a position that we use in HR. How an individual become a project manager, I'm not sure of that, and so that's not my area. But we do utilize that as one of our codings for an individual that works in our district, project manager or coordinator.
What does that mean in salary terms?
I know, mine is not working over here. Let me see.
What you need?
Ew. Yeah, I downloaded it, and then it just went away.
There it is. That's
Oh,
it.
you already have it open.
Okay, so
Yeah,
this,
non-district.
where's the non?
This is non-district, this whole thing.
Oh, there
Go
we are
back
in the
to
black.
your-
Okay.
Go back to the exit. Open here. Okay, so go back to your main meeting. That's the
now-
non-district, but you
okay.
need schools going. Go up. Full screen.
Ms. Cox, you want to come use my computer?
So you've got non-district,
Yep.
close out one of those.
It's working.
It's working? Okay, perfect.
Trying to toggle two things
So
at the
you've
same
got
time.
non-district.
Yeah, that other one that I
Open this one.
go this
All right,
one,
you've got.
this one, and I just
yeah,
looked at that
yeah,
one.
click
So
that one. I think,
yeah, those are
you
the
might refer
questions.
to them back and forth.
I can give her a hard copy if you want.
Oh, she's got it.
Yeah, we got it.
Just for clarification, there's 3 project managers and 1 coordinator currently within our district on this list. So I just want to make sure I make that clarification.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Yep.
Okay.
Good afternoon, School Board Chair and School Board members. So the question that you presented just a moment ago, referencing what is a project manager, it's an exempt position. Several years ago, when the superintendent was making a determination on making sure that we were getting quality work from different individuals or reassign them based on their skill sets, we reassigned several individuals, 4 of them specifically. And so the persons that they're referencing for this presentation have a different title assigned to support the school in the needs that the school has shared with the superintendent. So in this case, you have 3 project managers. At one point, they were serving the district and looking for our students that were not showing up on a daily basis. We have assigned them to specific school sites to help with finding our young people and supporting the school. In addition, they may work with discipline or in whatever capacity that the principal sees or deems the most appropriate for their needs. I'm sorry.
Any follow-up, Ms. Smith?
I think she wanted to know about the salary.
Yes.
Salaries for exempt employees are scheduled or assigned by the superintendent with the support of human resources, based on the duties and responsibilities, based on the number of years, et cetera. So those individuals were working in our schools, not necessarily assigned to a specific school site at one point, but were at the district office going out looking for our young people, especially after the pandemic, okay, and getting our kids back to school. And in doing so, the needs changed for what we thought would be best for certain learning communities, and we reassigned those persons to be at school sites to serve in similar capacities, but at the school site.
Can I ask a quick question?
Well, before, I want to make sure Ms. Smith has her, did that answer your question?
Not really. I'm just trying to determine is it the same as a teacher salary with a supplement, or
Oh.
are these people teaching, or are they not
No,
teaching?
they are not teaching in any capacity. They're not certified, but their working title is project manager in the system. So if you were to look up these individuals that you see listed here, you would see their title as project manager. But they really worked as a team of individuals at one point looking for our missing young people. We've reassigned them to serve in a support role at 3 or 4 different school sites. Their salaries are not a teacher salary with a supplement. They receive an exempt salary and I don't know it offhand what their exact salaries are, but they are not on the teacher salary schedule, if that's what you're asking me.
I'm asking about the resource that are also referred to as deans.
Teacher resources are also on the teacher salary schedule. It is a position found within the LCTA membership.
So they're paid the same as a teacher?
Yes.
So they're referred to as a dean, but they're coded as a resource
Right.
person.
So the dean, you're right. As Dr. Bolden shared, the term dean does not exist in our Skyward system. It's a working title, for lack of a better phrase. It's teacher resource is what they are.
It's like fingernails on a chalkboard for me.
That's why we need a common class study.
That's right. That's right. This is like a few years ago, we had someone who was calling himself a CFO, that was not their title, and I was told that was our working title. No. That just, no. Go ahead.
Well, can I ask a question about the project?
Oh, absolutely.
So that project manager, that was one of my questions looking through, like who was assigned at different schools. So are they a 12-month or a 10-month?
So yes, our project managers are 12 months.
12 months.
So so these are in unique circumstances with those handful of individuals that have been kind of retasked and reassigned. It's not a practice. Let me just say it that way. They, I think, are serving a better purpose where they are now, or a different purpose and that fit the needs of those schools. But those 4 individuals are not the normal way of work when it comes to our school district. What is normal is using a resource teacher in many different capacities that is a member of the bargaining unit, a member of LCTA. And that could serve this resource teacher is helping with administrative duties. They could be helping with academic duties. They could be with a number of different responsibilities just based on what the principal needs at that school site, what they need more help with. So that resource teacher position has been used in many ways. There is no, although they on paper call them or dean this, a dean of that, or they're really just resource teachers that are doing and assigned different responsibilities both in the administrative world and in the academic world at those sites.
If I heard correctly, though, this dean title is kind of this umbrella title for project coordinators, for teacher resource, for coordinators. That's what they're nodding and
I
shaking.
thought it was not for project coordinator.
No,
I thought it was this. I'm sorry, maybe I misheard. I thought at the very beginning there was it was this umbrella dean, and then they are subcategorized in this. That's what I heard. Maybe I misheard. But if that's not the case, then this is a moot point. If that is the case, then I go back to something earlier. I don't know, Ms. Smith said it, someone said it earlier. It's, I don't know. I'll hold my questions. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure I was clear
So
that they are.
you did hear it correctly, that
Okay.
currently we have the vast majority of our people who are deans are resource teachers.
Okay.
There are 4 individuals, 3 of them are project managers and 1 is a coordinator, that have been retasked and repurposed
Okay.
into that position.
Okay.
But that's not a practice. But
Okay.
the practice has been, those were very unique circumstances. The practice has been teacher resource filling those roles.
I'll say-
And the vast majority of them are also finishing certification in educational leadership.
I'm going to save my follow-ups because I think
Yep.
they may be addressed.
Yep.
Maybe.
No problem.
Can I
Okay, go
ask
ahead.
just one more thing?
Yep.
I'm confused for a lot of reasons, but for one, let's take example bond. In the staffing plan, it shows that there is a 0.2 adjustment for a social worker. Some of them, it shows the dean at Conley, it shows the dean at, again, we're coding people in our staffing plan as dean, but yeah, you're telling me there's no dean. I don't understand that.
So say, for instance, if we need more resources within the school, so the superintendent will say, hey, there are some concerns, real needs within that, and we are trying to invest in our schools in terms of helping with administration duties and concerns and helps and supports, whatever that looks like. And so we have seen in the past the superintendent have then staffed 2 APs, or he'll staff an AP and a dean to provide more resources as it relates to discipline. If somebody needs to be on top of
So
discipline,
there
everything.
is a dean position at our elementary schools.
It is not a dean position, but they do put in the word
Okay.
dean. So
Okay.
we use the title, but they are all teacher resources.
So it says dean on
Yes.
the staffing plan that was given to us by the CFO when we talked about the staffing at each school and how the money is being allocated per school. The only 2 schools, elementary, that show a dean, and it
Yep.
says dean. So I'm going to assume that there is a legitimate position that says dean because Connolly has one listed and Pineview has one listed. Now, bond in the staffing plan does not show, it says there was a 0.2 adjustment and it was a social worker that was there 1 time a week, but then on this list it says there is 1 project manager, parentheses, dean or behavior support. So what I'm seeing on this spreadsheet is not what's being shown in the staffing plan.
So that project manager is on this sheet too. So I know it says project manager and it has dean in parentheses as you indicated. I'm not looking at the document, but that project manager is one of the individuals we're talking about that's captured in the documents that we're presenting.
Any follow-up, Ms. Smith?
They're just not jiving with the staffing plan, so I think we need to do a comparison with the staffing plan.
We probably can just stop using the word dean.
So I think that's great. I think
Yeah,
that's
I'm with
great.
you. I'm with
and then
you.
our schools need to stop using the word dean.
Yeah.
And as part of this conversation, if an elementary school is going to have a dean, the
Yeah.
word dean comes with a level of
Responsibility.
authority,
Right.
Yes.
a step up.
Yeah.
It is not the same as a project manager or a coordinator or a teacher resource.
Absolutely.
So either we have deans at the elementary level and we define what that looks like and we make it consistent, or we don't have deans at the elementary level. Again, it looks like we've expanded that notion of dean from even from what the district allocated from 0.5 for high schools into, a full unit. We saw that in the presentation. And now it's been absorbed by some of our elementary schools, but it really doesn't carry the same weight, or context as the middle and high school. So we'll put a pin in that for now, but I'm hoping we can address that along the way.
Yep. So one of the other things you asked for is, one, the schools that allocate these, the roles in which they play, their specific certification. Another question you asked of part of 1, 2, and 3 was, do they have a master's degree in educational leadership? I did list the degree. You asked where is it staffed at, and it's in our staffing plan. And then subsequent, the last thing was you wanted to know the hours in service in which all of these individuals. We did that on both the non-district appointed and the district appointed individuals, so you can see all of that information. For the district appointed, I do want to map out that most of those individuals that are appointed do have the licensures or the certification or have a master's degree in educational leadership or in that process. And so we try to make sure that when the superintendent is sending resources, that they are certified and aligned in that process. And we see how we have invested within our school district and putting those resources at the school. And just this past grades that just came out, you can see the investment and the return on that. So I wanted to make sure we pointed that out. We do have one more document that we wanted to share that wasn't part of your conversation, but we thought it was prudent to have this.
So your next document that you have also kind of outlines school by school, the comparison from 25-26 school year to what we are starting the school year out right now, 26-27. So if you go through that, you'll be able to see the administrative positions that we have on that spreadsheet. So you can see, for an example, Appalachia, last year we had a principal, assistant principal, project manager who kind of serves in that capacity. We use that forbidden word dean again, behavior support and what they're doing there. And then you kind of see the comparison for 26-27 that we've kind of continued with that. So if you go through that, you'll be able to see, and we've highlighted in yellow, where we're saving positions, where we've increased positions, and where we've kind of swapped out some things there. So if you kind of look through those pages, you'll be able to see with all of our schools, we did this school by school. This is a practice that we did back with you guys too in February. So we just went back, we updated it and make sure we kind of highlight those increases in the reduction in staffing there too.
Colleagues, any questions? Seeing none?
Yeah, I mean,
Continue.
I have some that I've asked for later, and I think this Mr. Chair, do you mind?
Yes. No, absolutely. Go ahead.
So I think, because I had asked questions in new topics, and so thank you for this.
So let me make sure I'm clear. So the questions you had in new topics you want to address now?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
if I can, because it
Yeah.
is kind of, it
Not a
is
problem.
exactly this, about an explanation of the staffing plan for administrators, specifically the assistant principals. And so thank you for this. And my question along that line is, how there doesn't seem to be consistency on what schools get an extra assistant principal or that extra teacher resource dean position. I know some schools use their Title I funding, for example, to hire an extra dean or extra assistant principal. I know there's a school that I'm very close with that has a high ESE population, has a relatively large population, and would love an extra support. And all this to say, we're getting beat up in the media for our number, and Superintendent mentioned it, and I think there's been an increase from like 2017-18, 42% increase in our school site administrators. Is that something I remember or not? Is that not true? Not
42% increase of school administrators since when?
like 2017, 18. That
no.
is not correct, right?
It depends on what you consider an administrator. I mean, no, but there's.
And so I want to preface it, I am the first one when I got elected that seeing the needs at the schools, a lot of these assistant principals, especially in elementary school, they're doing testing throughout the year. It used to be that one time at the end of the year, that was their big responsibility. And with all the demands that are on our principals and assistant principals, I'm all for giving them that extra support. And so there doesn't just seem to be a lot of consistency on who gets the extra assistant principal or dean or who doesn't. So I appreciate the synopsis and the explanation. But anyway, I just didn't know if there was a formula that was put out on once the school gets to this enrollment, then we'll talk about having an extra assistant principal or dean, or needs basis, school by school, just as-needed basis, if that's something principals talk to the superintendent about, is that how that all comes about? What's the process?
Yeah, it
for
is.
that?
So why don't you do this? Why don't you go to that last one that Ms. Robinson was talking about? We'll go school by school, okay? So traditionally, an elementary school receives one principal and one assistant principal. Appalachia, principal and assistant. Astoria Park had a second assistant because they were in differentiated accountability, and we had a new principal there. He has now pulled his grade up to a B and is no longer a new principal. We moved that unit out. Bond, we sent an assistant principal there because we have a new principal at Bond that we felt like could use some additional administrative support, given it's his first year as a principal, and we also have a new assistant principal. Buck Lake's normal, Canopy's normal, Chairs is normal. Conley, we had an AP there that was helping because they have such a high level of students, high number of students with disabilities, and to help with that population. But now that we have assigned a dean to help with that group of students and reduced it by an assistant principal. Oak Ridge, we had a transition principal there that was paid for out of Unisig that was helping Mr. Principal Landrum turn that school around, which they did, and we have pulled that resource out of Oak Ridge, who is also in differentiated accountability. Pineview has also the Second Chance Elementary School is at Pineview. They did have a second assistant principal helping deal with those students. We have also reduced that unit. Riley, we had an assistant principal that was helping pull them out of differentiated accountability. So we removed that assistant principal, but we did leave them teacher resource to help support the administration. Roberts normal, Rudiger's normal, Sable's normal, Seeley's normal, Springwood's normal, Sullivan's normal. Cobb, instead of having a dean, has a third assistant principal because they also had a new principal, Logan Crouch, that took over, and we felt like could use a little bit administrative support. Deer Lake is normal. Fairview last year had a third AP and no dean. That was Paul Lambert, who is now retired, so they are back to normal. Griffin also, because they have a new principal, Carrie Anderson,
And just got
felt
off DA.
like, I'm sorry.
And just got off DA status.
And just got off DA status. We felt like could use some administrative support. Montfort's normal. NIMS is normal. Raw is normal. Swift Creek is normal. Fort Braden has no dean, but a third assistant principal. There's a reason for that I can discuss later, but it's different. But basically, the cost difference between a dean and an AP in that position. Woodville's normal. Childs is normal. Godby is back to normal, although Marsha Glover Sanders is working to support both Godby and Rickards High School, especially in dealing with their female population and working on attendance issues at Godby and Rickards and supporting them with the number of expulsions that we faced at those schools. Leon has a new principal and does have, well, he's not necessarily new, but Leon does have a fourth assistant principal instead of 3 APs and a dean. Lincoln is normal, and Rickards does have a fourth assistant principal instead of a dean to support Mr. Stokes. We did add an additional AP to SAIL this year because they're taking on overseeing Leon County Virtual School. So that's basically a synopsis of school by school. But to answer your question, if there are another school that wants to make a case as to why they need additional support, administrative support or other support, they certainly can make their case. And they're well aware of that.
I have a couple questions. I have 2 questions. One, Raw doesn't have 3 assistant principals. Raw has 2, right? They had 3 last year.
So what did I just say about Raw?
You just said.
And on this sheet that we got.
Hold on, Lori. Hold on 1 second, Lori.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, it's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2, yeah.
So that's an error on our part.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not in the staffing plan.
In the staffing plan, they should have they'll have two APs and a dean.
It shows 3.
Then that's a mistake. So
And
was that from this year that you're looking at, 26, 27?
26, 27, they only have 2. Last year, they had 3.
But
Correct.
the staffing plan for 26, 27 shows 3.
And when did you get that? Do you know?
That was sent.
Yesterday?
No.
Okay, all right, so it's been updated.
Okay.
But I'll make sure.
It's probably a month ago.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then,
7/13.
Yeah,
And then-
we've had some changes since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then the other thing, I kept hearing normal, and I was trying to figure out the rhythm of what is the normal. Are we categorizing the normal as last year what they had, or what is?
So normal in elementary would be one principal and one AP.
Got it.
Normal in middle school would be one principal, two APs, and a dean. And normal in high school would be one principal, three APs, and a dean.
Okay, so if it's abnormal, then that's the rationale that
Additional
you've
support.
articulated. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And we don't make those make those adjustments in a silo. The superintendent sits down with the cabinet. We talk about some of those concerns that we've heard all throughout the year. Principals have either called him or myself or Ms. Robinson to talk about some of the external factors. Like for me, there's, all schools are not created equal. So NIMS look different than that of Deer Lake and so forth. And those needs, even though both of them have needs, they are vastly different. And so we try to make those adjustments in order to support those principles to ensure.
And the last question that I would have is, I know we're going to either stop using deans or we're going to start using deans or whatever we're doing with this conversation. I guess this was my day one question, the purpose of deans. What is the purpose of them? Because what I do see is that there are varying degrees of now titles, whether they be a project manager or coordinator or teacher resource. There are varying degree levels, whether they master. So are they designed to be the bench, to be the next, administrators? If that's the design, then, maybe looking at a policy, if we put this in a policy that suggests that they need this degree if they're going to be on the bench, or so it really just comes down to fundamentally what's the purpose.
And if you go back and look, the vast majority, Dr. Nicholas, have degrees in education and leadership. And yes, that the whole point was that was the bench.
Yep.
You're exactly right. There have been, like I said, with the 4 positions, the 3 project managers, those are exceptions to the rule by far, and that is not a practice. But the normal practice is to put people in those positions that can gain administrative experience, then to take the next step to become an assistant principal.
Well, that's good to hear. I love that. And so now, how do we now operationalize that in the form of
Right.
policies or procedures or administrative, whatever is next? So that's all I had.
Okay.
Colleagues. And I know, Lori, I cut you off earlier. I'm sorry.
I was just going to corroborate what you were saying, that, yeah,
Okay.
they no longer had 3 assistant principals, so,
Right.
yeah.
Ms. Wood?
Well, a couple years ago, you came to us with a policy position, I believe, for dean as an administrative position. And I don't think they were 12-month. It was 11-month.
10.
10.
It was a 10-month thing. And the rationale, as I recall, was so that they could help with the evaluations and all the things that resource teachers or deans can't do contractually. I know I voiced a concern at the time that traditionally deans have been help with discipline primarily, and they had been primarily men. And so I was concerned that by categorizing this as the next step to being an assistant principal, that we would somehow inadvertently sort of cut off the path for women to become assistant principals and principals. So I know we have improved, you all have improved, and there are more women deans now than there were at the time of my concern. But, in people's mind, traditionally, it's the football coach or whoever it is, is the dean. I know that's evolved and changed. So there was discussion of having a different title called administrator in training, to kind of clearly say that's what that position is. I'm just trying to recall that conversation as we struggle with who's a dean and what's a dean and what's the purpose of a dean. Just for discussion. Also, we've been criticized from the outside about we have too many administrators, and I am concerned now if we add this as an administrative position, we could even criticize more. Personally, people can criticize all they want. We need to serve the needs of our kids and our schools and, let the chips fall where they fall. But
You can see, I mean, obviously the 42% increase to administrative staff is not
I don't know.
close to being accurate. I mean, I just went through every single school and it showed you the difference from what the staffing plans were like from 2017 to 2018 to now. And there's 6 schools with yellow, and most of those are just, I mean, it's not even close to being accurate, but
not even close.
some people's perception is their reality. And I think also we have heard you and are working towards every year trimming and reducing those numbers to give schools what they need and nothing more. And then also where we can use 10-month employees as opposed to 12-month employees. And I do think it would be good for us to establish, no matter what you want to call it, the administrator in training or whatever, that position. I think it would be wise for us to create that position, to have it and be done with it.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Smith?
I think, thank you for all this information. I know it's hard to wrangle, and I think that really lends hand to the fact that it's gotten a little out of control in my mind. And I know when we report, so some of the reports on how many administrators we have, I mean, that's a report directly to DOE. How many assistant principals do we have? How many deans do we have? So we have some people that we're calling dean that I assume we're not including in that batch because they're not a district appointed dean. So I would like to see some formal movement on this issue. One, outlining let's get a job description for our deans, both at the high school level and the middle school level. So if they need to be 2 different things, that's fine. And what the process is, because it does give way to favoritism looking like in a school level that you're in the inner circle, you're tight with the principal, and then boom, you're a principal to dean, which is not the way with assistant principals. They go into a pool, they're assigned out throughout the district based on, a higher view of what's needed. And I would like to see that process with the deans as well. And I think that also gives way to the more opportunities for females. Which, yes, we've seen huge progress even since I've been on the board with deans and female deans. So I would like to see some formal, and if we need to make a motion on this tomorrow night, we can, some job description on the deans, what that looks like, some requirements. I'm glad that we're seeing all of these degrees, all of the masters in ed leadership, because it should be a stepping stone to an AP position.
Absolutely.
It should not be held by somebody with a bachelor's degree, and trust me, I don't have anything higher than a bachelor's, but it should be, I have sought out that certification. I have made those strides because I want to use this as the step to the next step. So I do think I would like to see us put some parameters around that. And then the third thing I would like to see is that we completely reevaluate the elementary school situation. I don't believe in using working titles when that is not what they are equally to what it is at the middle and high school level. So if we could come up with some other kind of certificate designation for those teachers or for those positions at the elementary level, and then look at, does it need to be assigned at the district level? Or is that, again, just a school within a school function? I just feel like it's kind of the Wild West out there. And that lends way to some schools feeling, I don't know, like, why can't we have what they have? And, and then the favoritism thing, and it just, we just need some more structure around it. So I don't know if we need motions for this, or if you're hearing us maybe and come back with something, but I don't want it to fall again. Like, I think it was just me and Roseanne here last time we got the description, and we were all like, I don't even know what to do with this, and then it just faded.
And I'm still confused if it's an administrative position or a teacher position in terms of this whole DOE reporting business. I mean, how much does that matter?
It's an administrator.
Yeah.
Which we are reporting our high school deans, I mean, they're already in that batch. It's not like it's going to,
No,
they're not
because
in that
they are
batch.
teacher resource.
Yeah. So, Ms. Smith, I agree with what you're saying. I would not like to see anything come back to me immediately, and I will tell you why. I would like it to be as part of the larger class job code, job duties, part of the larger comp study that's going to come before us, because we have a habit of creating these positions to subsequently now fit outside of whatever the scope that we are still trying to determine as a district, or the superintendent and his staff is still trying to discover what the scope of what the new class specs, job functions, job codes, position descriptions, any word that you want to use. So bringing that back may fall outside of kind of this larger comprehensive plan that they're creating. And I just don't want to create something like that. So I am all in favor. Love the fact that the deans provide a stepping stone into administration. It's one of the positions that I wanted when I was a teacher, right? Like I wanted to go into.
It's not too late.
Well, yes, but I really wanted to do that. Funny enough, like, I won't say that. It's just weird. But yes, I wanted to go into that kind of position, but I don't want it to fall outside of the parameters of what kind of this larger framework that is being created, contrary to popular belief or whatever people are out there saying in Ethernet. It is actually this larger plan that's being created. So I agree with everything you said. I just wanted to be a part of kind of a larger conversation. Yeah,
I agree, and also we don't want people freaking out thinking something's going to change with their job this year.
Absolutely.
So if we could have this maybe by the end of the calendar year, like a proposal, and that way we kind of massage it, look and see what we feel like as
Yes,
a
ma'am.
board, and then it becomes implemented for 27, 28.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Can I just ask a real